Welcome to the Comic Sauce Podcast, where we talk comics and comics culture. I am Henry Liu, and today I am once again joined by Christian Diadamo. Christian, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Henry. Happy to be here.
And I am joined by Porfirio Rangel. Porfirio, how are you?
I'm doing well, Henry. Can't wait to
Excellent.
talk some stuff.
Excellent. Yes, today is February 4th, 2022. The Comic Sauce Podcast is on social media at Comic Sauce Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Today, we're going to talk about what are we looking forward to this year, the year 2022. So in the past, we've done year in reviews and we've done what we're looking forward to. So we're going to continue that. We did our year in review a couple episodes ago, and now we're going to do our most anticipated of the year. So we're well into the year. It's already February, so we're a little late to the game here. And I think some of the stuff we're going to cover has already released, right? So we got to get on this. Not too formal. We're not going to go down like every major release on TV and in the movies. But basically, we just want to cover what we are looking forward to the most. And the year 2022, we're well into the year, but there is a lot of uncertainty about a great many things in the world right now. But one thing we do know is that there is going to be a shit ton of cool movies and TV shows coming out, which are our most anticipated. Let's get into it.
Unless they push them back.
Oh, don't
Fingers
say
crossed.
that.
No,
Don't
we'll
say
see.
that.
Oh no.
But that is a reality. I mean, there's stuff coming out real soon that might get pushed back. We don't know. So there's still uncertainty. But there's gonna be cool stuff. Come on. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I know. They can't push everything back.
That's right. They can't push everything back. Okay, so where to begin? Maybe we'll start with movies. We all love movies. And 2021 saw the fantastic return to the movies. And we had a lot of great, memorable experiences at the movie theaters. And 2022 looks like it's going to be another great year for movies. So maybe we'll just kind of spitball. What are some picks? What are your most anticipated movies of the year? Maybe we'll just throw some out. What's a movie you're really looking forward to, Christian?
All right. Well, of course, this one's coming out like in a month, so it's probably the fair pick. But of course, Batman.
Yes.
I am a big Batman fanboy, so of course that's the big one I'm looking forward to this year.
And
But
that's the Batman.
the Batman.
Dun,
The
dun,
Battinson. Let's see. But that's coming out. It's doing its own thing. And I think like there's so much uncertainty with like where the DC like extended universe is right now, what it is, where it's going, and like who's a part of it and who isn't, as far as like characters, movies, interpretations. So I think everything is also going to come to a head in The Flash. That's what everyone's speculating, that they're doing a Flashpoint. There's going to be a big reboot, and it's a way for DC to throw out the elements it doesn't like, retcon, soft retcon, while also keeping the characters and movies that it does. So later down the line, I think that's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's right. There is a Flash movie slated to come out this year too. There's a lot of DC movies slated to come out. There's also Black Adam and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So 4 DC movie releases.
It's
That's
like
pretty
2 years in one. That's
Yeah.
a way more DC movies
Yeah.
than we usually get.
But you bring up a good point, Christian, about is it going to be connected or not? It certainly seems like the Batman is not in the same universe as the Justice League characters we've seen, right? Aquaman and the Flash. Those two movies presumably will continue to exist in that universe. And the Black Adam movie is like a sequel to the Shazam movie, right? So that will exist in that universe. But I don't know, like I think what you're alluding to with Flash is that it could come all crashing together potentially. Now, do you think there's going to be a Spider-Man No Way Home-esque multiverse collision with that movie? Like maybe the Rob Pattinson Batman universe will like combine with some of this other stuff. I don't know. What do you think?
Those are big rumors going around. Actually, I don't know if the rumors are full confirmations, but like you hear about Michael Keaton being in the movie, Ben Affleck being in the movie, like multiple universes. It is definitely Flash's thing, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that they want to do something closer to like No Way Home, where the Flash kind of gets in over his head in other universes and they kind of collide. So I could definitely see that happening. Because in the original Flashpoint, I think he goes back in time to try to save his mom, but in doing so, like rewrites history in weird ways. And there's like that butterfly effect with it. And so he has to like find a way to kind of right his wrongs. And that kind of creates the new 52, the big universe reboot that they're doing.
Got it.
So I could definitely see that. It's like from what I hear, it's like I guess that's where they're gonna go from it. It's gonna be Flash No Way Home. But they also have to introduce the Flash, this version of the Flash. I guess we've seen him in Justice League, but this is his first like solo movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll see. It sounds like they are getting pretty ambitious with this one. It's the first ever Flash solo movie, and potentially it's going to have all this crazy multiverse stuff in it. So yeah, it might be a bit much, but we'll see. Any thoughts on your end, Porfirio, about the DC movie offerings this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the Batman, I guess. I feel like it's either going to be a really big hit or a miss just because it's 3 hours long. It's PG-13, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's PG-13.
Okay. We haven't seen Riddler in a while, so it's going to be cool to see him and Penguin. I'm actually, pretty looking forward to the Batman, and then the Flash, also that one, just because, I guess like off like the hype of No Way Home, like Flashpoint Paradox is going to be a fun little storyline to look over. Black Adam, I don't care for. I don't really have any care for that one. I feel like it's just going to be The Rock with superpowers, and all of his movies are the same. And then Aquaman 2, directed by James Wan. Yeah, I'm really looking for that because I feel like anything James Wan does is pretty good. So, that's what I'm looking. Those are my opinions for the DC universe.
Right on. Yeah, I'm always curious about what DC has to offer movie-wise. And of these four, I would say the Batman is my most anticipated. Yeah, we haven't seen a solo Batman movie quite a while, right? So this one looks pretty interesting. It's got some horror elements to it. So yeah, I'm totally looking forward to what this one has to offer. Looks different. Looks very different. So if we're going to talk about DC, we got to talk about Marvel, right? So let's talk some Marvel. As usual, Marvel is pretty much all I care about at this point in terms of anticipation. Like when I was brainstorming a bit, I was like, what am I looking forward to this year? And like immediately my brain just goes to, okay, what MCU movies are coming out? What MCU shows are coming out? Done. Right. But movie wise, it's shaping up to be a pretty interesting year for Marvel. There are 3 Marvel Studios movies coming out. Those are Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, those aren't the only Marvel offerings. There's also, if they actually finally do release it, the Morbius movie from Sony, and also from Sony, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So 5 pretty major Marvel releases, not all MCU, as I mentioned, right? So what do you guys think here? What's the most anticipated of these flicks? Any thoughts?
Let's see. I'd say of just the MCU specifically, not including any of the Sony offerings just yet. Doctor Strange, I think, is the first one that comes to mind. I think that like it, we saw the whole trailer after Spider-Man No Way Home. We all love Spider-Man No Way Home. So it's almost like a direct sequel to it of like what happens to Doctor Strange after that and more of his side of the story. And so since that's still like very hot, that's the one that's like that grabs my attention the most immediately. But I mean, the other 2 are like, there's definitely no slouches with the other 2. I think they're, I loved Thor Ragnarok, and so more from like Taika Waititi and Thor just seems to be a match made in heaven. So I'm really excited for Thor: Love and Thunder. Black Panther was also great. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But it's really interesting what like Ryan Coogler does with the next Black Panther, and how he says he wants to have just stories from all around Wakanda. And so maybe we'll get more of an ensemble piece, is what I'm gonna guess, in Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
For me, anything Scarlet Witch, I'm totally game for. So I'm really, my number 1 pick is Doctor Strange 2. But I'm most excited to see America Chavez make her debut on that movie. And then, like early on, there were talks about it being like a horror, like supernatural kind of movie. So this got like my biggest like interest written all over it. And then Wakanda Forever, excited to see what they're gonna do with that. And yeah, I guess those are the only 2. I mean, Thor 3 is like, it's kind of like, I feel like a comedy that I know I'm gonna be enjoying because of Taiki, how he's gonna be directing. I'm like, yeah, anything touches is gold. So yeah, that's what I think for the Marvel MCU projects.
Yeah, I think these 3 movies are going to make a lot of money because with Thor 4, it's really shaping up to be a follow-up from Thor Ragnarok, same director. And that's a very beloved movie. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing what Taika does in his Thor follow-up, right? And then, I mean, you talk about beloved Black Panther, Ryan Coogler is on board again. And, it's sad we're not going to get Chadwick Boseman. But I mean, come on, it's Black Panther. So, people are going to show up. And then I think Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to make some serious box office too, because they really promoted the hell out of it with No Way Home, which everyone on the freaking planet saw, right? the post-credit scene was a Doctor Strange trailer, right? So they promoted that, and then you got people like Porfirio who really love WandaVision, right? So you got that group who are like, oh, I want to see the further adventures of the Scarlet Witch, right? So I think this movie is gonna make a ton of money. The first Doctor Strange movie, made money, but wasn't a huge hit. But this one, man, people are gonna watch it. The Marvel multiverse is like a big thing now, right? Everyone wants to know what's going on. I mean, you got people looking at silhouettes in the background, like the Marvel multiverse has really captured the world's attention, right? So people are going to show up for this movie. So yeah, I mean, Marvel Studios, MCU, yeah, obviously I'm totally looking forward to these 3 movies. That said, I am more looking forward to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. I cannot wait for this movie. Into the Spider-Verse has become like one of my top movies of all time. And it's been a while, 2018 is when it came out. And 4 years later, finally we're getting the sequel. And it is my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year. I really cannot wait. It's hard to say like what I'm expecting, because I don't really know what's in store. But the first movie was just so wonderful and was such an awesome ride that I'm looking forward to the further adventures of Miles Morales. Hell yeah.
What kind of Spider people are you hoping to see in the movie?
All right, let's get into it. Yeah, so it is interesting that No Way Home just came out, because we're in a world where the Spider-Verse is amongst us, right? It's a thing. We've seen multiple Spider-Mans already, just a few months ago, right? So I'm thinking, like, did the fact that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showed up in No Way Home, did that kind of take the wind out of the sails of Across the Spider-Verse? I don't know. I don't think so. It's probably drummed up more interest, right? Because now everyone's wondering, like, what other Spider people are we going to see on the big screen, right? So what do we know? There was a trailer. We do know that Miles Morales has a new costume. We know that Spider-Man 2099 is going to be in the movie, so that is awesome. But beyond that, we don't know a whole lot else. Spider-Gwen's going to be in there. We know that. But yeah, what else?
There's Spider-Woman's going to be in it.
Oh, is that confirmed?
Yeah, she's going to be voiced by Issa Rae from Insecure.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, I did hear that. That's cool. That is cool. I've heard speculation about not only introducing comics Spider-Verse people, but also possibly dipping into cartoon Spider-Man people. The cartoons are pretty beloved. I've heard some rumors about the live action thing. I think with Amy Pascal's conversations with Garfield and Maguire, I have heard that there have been like side conversations about like, hey, you want to do a voice in our Spider-Verse movie? So might we get something like that? I mean, it's all wide open, right? But in terms of like, what am I looking forward to? I'd love to see some Asian representation. I've heard some rumblings about Silk. I've heard some rumblings about Spider-Man India. Japanese Spider-Man is all but confirmed for this movie, so we'll see there. I do like the manga-verse Spider-Man in the comics. That would be pretty cool to see. So yeah, a lot of possibilities. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on this flick?
Yeah, like I want to see all of those. I think about the cartoon Spider-Man. I think the most beloved is the one from the 90s, you know,
Yeah.
90s Spider-Man with like the same voice actor. Because he like the show ended with him and Madam Web kind of traveling the Spider-Verse looking for Mary Jane. And so it almost seems like, oh, maybe now is the perfect time to follow that up. There's like, I think a lot of people would still love that, even though that show is so old that, like, but like, they're like, we're bringing him back. We're bringing back this, like, the version you hear when you read Spider-Man comics, you know?
I,
Uh,
I yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, every time I read a Spider-Man comic, I always read it in his voice.
mhm.
Like, I'm sorry for, major love for Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield and Toby, but yeah, like that's my Spider-Man guy. Like always read his, always read the comics in his voice, and um, he's been asked if he's going to be in the Spider-Verse movie, and obviously he's denied it, but he could totally just be pulling off an Andrew Garfield and just be like, deny, 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 you know?
Mhm.
Exactly.
And now
Exactly.
Christopher Daniel Barnes. I'd kind of look it up, but he's like Kevin Conroy's Spider-Man, you know.
There
And
you
hey,
go.
they're bringing back the X-Men. You know, they have X-Men '97, so I think that's the big one everyone wants is what happened to Spider-Man in that.
Mhm.
And I think like, after No Way Home, everyone's clamoring for more Andrew Garfield Spider-Man as well. Like
Yeah.
it feels like this big unresolved plot thread of what happens to him after the Amazing movies, because it's like we never saw that like trilogy finished.
Yeah.
So now it's like, more Andrew Garfield,
It's so funny you bring that up because I was reading this interesting comic. It's a far out fan theory, but like the reason why like Morbius is getting pushed back is because they like want to do like some reshoots, but it's all setting up, like the Sony Spider-Verse or whatever, but they're gonna have it revolve around Andrew Garfield instead of Tom Holland.
Oh, really? Huh.
Wow.
That's the big talk. Like I guess like that, yeah, that there was just so much success with Andrew Garfield being like a big spotlight and everything, and everyone's pushing for Andrew Garfield, or Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then Tom Holland isn't he's not interested that much in with the Spider-Man character, so that's what I've heard, that they want to revolve like this like Sony multiverse Spider-Man thing going on around Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Hmm. It's like they're going back to the original plan,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That is interesting. To me, it sounds kind of unlikely, but after watching No Way Home, I truly believe anything is possible. Like all these crazy fan rumors, like I listen to them now because I've been proven wrong so much just because of that movie. So it's possible. I mean, if I were a betting man, I don't think Garfield will return live action wise for Spider-Man. Um, it could be a possibility to me that he could do some voice work. I think Christian, you were kind of alluding to that, but yeah, it might be like, oh, I can't. No, I'm just that part of my career is over. But hey, it might be kind of fun to voice Peter Parker in these animated movies. Sure.
Or
So
or
you
or
know,
what he could do is totally just pull like a Space Jam kind of thing and just be like a human Spider-Man in like this like toon reality kind of thing.
oh boy, another can of worms there. But yeah, you never know. Just a few more thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse. it is interesting that they're naming this movie Part 1, with Part 2 slated to come out next year. I don't know. I kind of feel weird about the Part 1, Part 2 thing. I kind of wish they didn't do that. I think it'd be cool if they just call this Across the Spider-Verse and Part 3 be called something else. So that's kind of odd. I guess it's like a marketing thing about how, oh, that last one came out years ago, but don't worry, right after this one, you're going to get another one. So we're calling it Part 1, Part 2. But it makes it feel like it's not standalone. And I would hate for this movie to not work as a standalone movie. You know what I mean? So a little bit peeved about that. And another thing I noticed just looking at IMDb, it looks like there's a whole new crew with this movie. Like the entire director team is new. The team of writers is almost entirely new. Like Phil Lord is literally the only writer holdover from Into the Spider-Verse. So it might be a little different, so I'm saying I'm totally looking forward to this movie, but maybe I shouldn't get my expectations up that much because Into the Spider-Verse really was a special movie, right? And they might have just caught lightning in a bottle. Maybe we shouldn't expect too much from this one. I mean, I can't help but be super stoked, but maybe we should temper our expectations a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that it was a completely new team working on this movie.
Yeah.
Because there was just such a master craft done Into the Spider-Verse,
Yeah.
The way it was animated, the way it looked, the way it was shot, the music.
Totally.
It was all like just so perfectly done.
Yeah, it was like this crazy perfect storm because it was a very wild, bonkers movie, but somehow it just really came together. So you just wonder, can they catch lightning in a bottle again? So, we'll see. And then there's the other Marvel release. I mean, I barely consider this a Marvel release, but Morbius is slated to come out this year. And I got to be honest, I'm not looking forward to this movie pretty much at all. But I don't know. What do you guys think about Morbius?
Nah.
Pass.
And there we go. There's our shortest review ever for a movie.
Right.
The hype for Morbius
Yeah.
is I know. It's kind of like the dollar store, Spider-Man, it's that meme. Oh, who's Spider-Man at home? Spider-Man at home.
What's next on the list, Henry?
Yeah, let's move on. Okay, so cool. We've covered DC movies and Marvel movies. What else? There are movies in this world that aren't DC or Marvel, right? So are there other movies you're looking forward to? You guys want to throw out any titles of stuff you're looking forward to in 2022?
For me, I know you guys, I feel like you guys aren't really looking forward to it, but Fantastic Beasts 3. I love the Harry Potter world, and it's been a while since we've seen Fantastic Beasts 2, and screw J.K. Rowling still, but I really am looking forward to that movie.
Gonna be an interesting one. They've recast Johnny Depp, no J.K. Rowling, and I hope they kind of focus back on Dumbledore for this one and kind of give us that Dumbledore Grindelwald movie that they were kind of hinting at, It was like two is it was a bit of a mess of a movie. I think they kind of had a little too much going on. But everyone loves Dumbledore, and I thought the little bit that we saw for 2 is pretty good. Of I think Jude Law was Dumbledore. So like a young, a young Dumbledore, and you see like his old relationship with Grindelwald, and like, so I don't know. I think like this could be the big course correction that they kind of, the Fantastic Beasts kind of needed.
We shall see. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the Fantastic Beasts movie. But hey, we talked about the Harry Potter franchise before, and it's a big fandom and it is going on strong. And yeah, I know a lot of folks are looking forward to this new Fantastic Beasts movie. And who am I to rain on their parade? If you're into it, you know, hoping the best for you. Enjoy your time. Um, yeah. What else? Now, I had mentioned before that we're already well into the year. It's already February. So some of this stuff has come out already, right? So January historically is not a big month for movie and TV releases, but the Scream sequel did come out, and that's not the only horror release of 2022. Porfirio, maybe you can give us a little rundown. I know you're into horror movies. What's the horror landscape for movies in 2022?
There's a good slot. I feel like there's a lot of like franchises being rebooted. Like you said, Scream was one last month. This month you have another Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie coming out on Netflix, and it's supposed to be a sequel to the original movie that came out back in the 70s. Um, Halloween 3 comes out around Halloween time. I feel like there's another one. I think Chucky season 2 comes out this year. Like, so in terms of, I think, original stuff, I am not the biggest like person to know, but like in terms of like franchises, like it's like the return of franchises for horror flicks.
Cool.
Yeah. All three like big slasher franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I heard Scream is pretty good. I'm definitely not the horror guy here. But like Scream is almost like, like was known for being the horror comedy or the slasher parody in a way while still being a slasher movie.
Yeah, I feel like Christian, I feel like honestly, if you were to watch Scream, I feel like you would actually really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I
Like
did
it's
really
not
like Cabin in the Woods. Is it kind of like along those lines,
kinda like it's very much a satirical kind of movie um on like horror fans, and I guess like the way like horror movies are being made and stuff. There's like no jump scares, but more of like a social commentary on fans and reboots and just like the whole horror movie climate nowadays.
No jump scares. All right then. I'm on board. You had me at no jump scares.
Would I lie to you?
Watch, it's full of jump scares.
I know. No, but it is kind because I feel like Cabin in the Woods was really much a satirical kind of movie, right? Like it like did this whole like social commentary on like horror cliches and stuff like that. And I feel like it's just kind of like the same thing. Like this is what Scream does.
Mhm. Cool.
Have you seen it yet, Henry?
The new Scream movie?
Uh,
No, I have not. I have not.
I do recommend it, but yeah. Yeah, what are your takes, Henry, on the horror movies coming out?
Well, historically, I'm a horror fan, but definitely not like super hardcore into the genre right now. So I doubt I'll be going to the movie theaters to watch any horror movies this year. But of the ones you've listed, let's see. You know, The new Scream movie does sound interesting. I know you recommend it, and I've heard good things. So that might be one I might be willing to check out in the comfort of my home at a later date, perhaps.
When it's on streaming.
There you go. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I did see Halloween Kills last year, and I was not a fan of that movie. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on the third installment there. But yeah, there's a bunch of other movies. I don't think we want to get into great detail, but maybe I'll just kind of spitball some of the other big releases of the year. We got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We got Top Gun Maverick. There's Avatar 2 slated to come out at the end of the year. There's a Mario movie slated for December. Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear movie. So yeah, I think there's definitely an audience for a lot of these movies. Jurassic World 3. Any of these kind of piquing your interest at all?
I feel like Jurassic World definitely has my interest, just because no matter how bad a Jurassic Park movie is, it's still pretty good. I guess you can't go wrong with dinosaurs. That's just my take.
It still is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
See dinosaurs eat people, run away, break through things.
Exactly. And I mean, it's gonna have the return of the OG Jurassic Park characters and actors. So, we did a review about it last year, right?
It was either last year or the year before.
We revisited it. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. And so yeah, it'll definitely be fun, I think.
Cool.
Ready for the OGs to come back.
Yeah.
See Dr. Grant again. And hopefully Jeff Goldblum.
One movie on the list that raises my eyebrow a little bit is Top Gun Maverick. Now, the original Top Gun movie is really beloved to me. It's one of my all-time favorites, no question. Hearing about this sequel, I don't know, man. Like, we talked about this a bit with the Matrix movie that came out not long ago, how it was just really unnecessary and kind of a cash grab. Like, Top Gun Maverick smells of this, right? Just kind of like beating a dead horse and taking a really beloved movie and potentially tainting it with a shitty ass sequel, right? So that's what it kind of feels like for me. I'm kind of hoping for the best, but Tom Cruise is not in his 20s anymore, not by a long shot. So what are we getting in this movie? I don't know, and I'm fearing the worst. We'll see, but I am not expecting this to be any good.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect to hear a Top Gun reboot.
Yeah.
Like, although I will say, I guess of all the actors, Tom Cruise would probably be the best, to do a reboot like that, because he still does like crazy shit stunts,
That's
in
true.
Mission Impossible, and like doesn't look like he's aged all that much in the last 15 years, weirdly enough.
I guess if there is a guy to revisit his franchise like 30 plus years later, he would be the guy, right? So, maybe it could work.
Yeah, Top
We'll
Gun's a
see.
classic, but I guess like I don't know were people asking for this movie? Like, were you asking for this movie, Henry? A big fan of Top Gun?
I certainly wasn't, and I am curious. Was anyone asking for this sequel? I don't know. I kind of think no.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I think Tom Cruise just wants to, like, he just wanted to fly a fighter jet again. So he's like, fuck it, let's just make a movie.
He probably had some like stunt in mind of like, I'm gonna do this and
Yeah.
this. Let's make a movie about it. I want to jump out of an airplane, a real airplane with no parachute.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right. Something I've noticed while you're like talking about movies coming out is there are like three like really big releases that are based on video games, actually. Like we have
Ooh.
Uncharted, Sonic 2, and Mario,
Yeah.
which are all like pretty big releases. And as a video game enthusiast, like but video game movies are always really, really bad. So it's like you can't help but be like, oh God, please be good for like all of these. While also being like, man, I kind of want to see that. Uncharted, I never really played Uncharted, so can't really say much about that. The trailer didn't excite me too much. Sonic, though, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh wow, that actually looks pretty fun. I don't know if I'll see it in theater, but it's pretty enjoyable. And like everyone's talking about the Mario movie.
Mm.
Like I think people have become so enamored with this cast, for better or for worse, you know, that like there's so many like memes around this movie. There's so much like hype in a way that's been generating and like there's no trailer yet in a way, but I think it's just because Mario's so beloved. The first movie was so bad in the 90s, and like the cast is pretty like off the wall. With Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, and Jack Black as Bowser, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Like that, like it also it's kind of funny, but in a way you're like, sounds kind of interesting. I'm actually really curious to see this movie.
So no, go ahead.
I was just saying maybe this is the start of the now, we have Marvel, we have DC. Maybe we'll have the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Mario's just the jumping off point.
This is
NCU.
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, that's the big Avengers crossover after like that's after like they have their Kirby movie and all that. we have Detective Pikachu already, so there you go.
We do.
This is number 2.
Would you be like crazy like if like Sonic 2 like there's a post-credit scene and Mario shows up?
That would be, yeah. Like that would be because like Mario and Sonic were always like the big like 90s like big clashing forces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, you got a Sega, oh, you got Sonic, you got Nintendo, you got Mario,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the old playground war back in the day.
Yeah. So Henry, are we gonna have a movie day with your son to go watch Sonic 2?
It's very possible. My son and I did go to see the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie in the movie theaters. So probably we'll be making a day of it for the sequel also. So we'll see. Yeah. It'll be more for him than me, got to be honest. but we'll see. Hey, Christian, like you mentioned, the trailer does seem like it makes it seem like it's a pretty fun movie. So yeah, might be worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Elba has Knuckles.
That's right. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, what you mentioned, Christian. Is this the year that video game movie adaptations break through? Finally, is that going to happen? I mean, arguably, it already happened with Sonic 1, but we got 3 pretty big video game adaptations coming out this year, so it could be the big year, right? So something to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we've covered the movies quite well. Let's move on to television. lots of shows coming out this year. Why don't we get into some of our most anticipated? Any picks you guys want to throw out there?
Okay, for me, yeah, I just want to point this one out. The Lord of the Rings, I think it's called Ring of Fire. I forget what it's called.
On
But
Amazon, right?
yes, I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to that. I remember when it first got announced and everything, and the cast got announced. I think it was barely like, I remember me and Christian were actually on our way to, I think, the second year of Comic Con, and that was how many years ago? So finally, it's finally coming true. I'm just like, let's do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this could be big. I've heard that there's a big budget behind this show. So
I, I
yeah.
think I think, don't quote me on this. I need to fact check, but I think it's the most expensive TV show to ever be created.
Wow.
Man, they're really trying to get that Game of Thrones type vibe, you know.
Yeah. I was just about to
Full
say,
Hollywood.
yeah, if it's more expensive than Game of Thrones, then wow, this could be pretty amazing.
Mhm. Well, that's my guess is that they probably want to take a some sort of approach because it just like the trailer doesn't say much of like what's happening other than there's like a monologue of how the 9 rings of power were or 9 rings were created for the men, and then there's the one ring to rule them all. So my guess is that it's like a big prequel revolving around because 9 kings got the rings,
Hmm.
and of course they fought amongst themselves. So I think but like that's like pretty. There's not really much around that as far as I've seen, other than just lore and like it's pretty open to interpretation to make
Hmm.
like a show about. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw, but they released like posters like in the past few days about like just like hands, and it like some of the hands are like one of the rings and stuff.
Oh, I actually did not
Oh,
see it.
me
I'll take a
neither.
look
Yeah,
at it.
it's pretty cool. But oh my gosh, yeah, like you were talking about the trailer, and I was very upset that that Kate's voice was not being used in the trailer to describe like 9 rings were given to men and stuff. And I was like, and it was this other voice. I was like, this is
Uh,
not the same.
oh man.
Yeah, I know. Where's Galadriel?
uh,
Well, speaking of fantasy television coming out this year, the Game of Thrones prequel series is also coming out this year, House of the Dragon. So interesting, right? Because you could argue that Game of Thrones benefited greatly from Lord of the Rings fandom. And this year, there's going to be both a Lord of the Rings TV series and another Game of Thrones TV series. How are we feeling about this DOT prequel series?
I'm over Game of Thrones.
You're done. You're
Finish
done.
season 8. It just that
Uh,
killed it.
it's just like, like let, like, yeah, just, I don't know how else to describe it, but the hype for it is gone. Like, it's just let it go, like, yeah, no. Mm-mm. Yeah, no. Did they have a trailer?
I don't even know. I
I don't.
haven't
I don't
checked.
know. I think there may have been like some sort of tease to it or something. But yeah, I think that's the general sentiment right now. Right? People are like hella stoked for Lord of the Rings, but are like pretty meh about GOT stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I kind of feel what you're saying. Like Game of Thrones was like so last decade, right? Like, it was the water cooler show of the 2010s, but that's a bygone era. Let's move on to the new stuff, right?
Yeah, and yeah, all the hype is gone. Nobody talks about it after
Yeah,
season 8.
yeah, yeah.
Nobody, and then like talks
Yeah,
favorably.
Yeah, a lot of people were pretty salty about how the series ended, and then the whole Benioff and Weiss like controversy, I guess you could say. Just the whole franchise is just kind of not sitting well with a lot of people right now. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, hey, so there are a couple of shows that I think would be considered most anticipated of the year that are already out, right? The Book of Boba Fett and Peacemaker. They're both like kind of nearing the end of their seasons, right? We're gonna do a Peacemaker episode, so let's not get too deep into that. And I don't think we want to go deep on Book of Boba Fett a lot either right now. But yeah, any sort of like mid-season thoughts about these shows right now?
Like I think what's kind of interesting is that like the general consensus now, and I think the way we've been talking about Boba Fett and Peacemaker is that Peacemaker is awesome. We're like, oh man, I can't wait to get home and watch Peacemaker tonight. There's the new episode, and Boba Fett is like oh, man, where is this going? But like Boba Fett, it's just like kind of disappointing because Boba Fett is like this like cherished, beloved character of the original trilogy.
Yeah,
Everyone loved Boba Fett. Everyone loved his design. He was like this mysterious, cool bounty hunter that caught Han Solo, and like a lot of hype going into this because also coming off the heels of Mando season 2, Boba Fett was really cool in that. And like I'm not really hearing a lot of good stuff about it now. Whereas like Peacemaker is, like I liked him in the Suicide Squad, but it's like before that, I did not know who Peacemaker is, and like nobody else did. I don't think there was like much hype going into this show, but word of mouth just spread about how good it is, and now everybody's watching it.
yeah,
Everybody's talking about how great it is. So it's weird how much the script is flipped going in.
seriously. Yeah, that's a great summary, Christian. I mean, if you were to tell me a year ago that Book of Boba Fett and Peacemaker were out at the same time, and that I would be like totally looking forward to every episode of Peacemaker, and on the flip side, looking at Boba Fett like homework, like something I'd be kind of dreading watching, but I kind of have to watch week to week, I would have told you you're crazy, right? But that's where we're at, and that's how most people feel about these shows. It's pretty wild. Um, yeah, I'm pretty amazed how great Peacemaker is, and it's just hilarious. It is so freaking funny, and yeah, looking forward to getting into it more in a future episode. Um, but yeah, a little bit more on Boba Fett too. Like, yeah, Boba Fett to me is like a totally beloved character. He was so cool in limited screen time in the original Star Wars trilogy. But this show, man, has gone wrong in so many ways. We might have to do an episode on Book of Boba Fett also to get through some of our feelings on this. But it's been disappointing. I'll just kind of leave it at that. Any thoughts, Porfirio, on either of these shows?
Definitely love Peacemaker. Yeah. Like I remember I just randomly put it on because I was like, I'll just watch Peacemaker. It's a comic book show. Like, let's just watch it. And then honestly, yeah, to be honest, it wasn't until like the opening, like the intro song, when I kind of was like, okay, I get what kind of show this is. And I think I'm down for this. And as because like the opening scene, is with him, like him waking up at the hospital. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. But then once the opening song came, I was like hooked, like instantly. And then after that, I was like, you need to watch this. Like I was telling Christian, I was like, Christian, you need to watch Peacemaker. And yeah, like I Peacemaker I like, and then Boba Fett, I have definitely feelings about it. I wasn't expecting it from the very beginning or anything like that. And yeah, it's just for me, it's just like I'll watch it because it's on and a new episode came on. Why not? You know?
Not exactly a glowing endorsement. Hey, so Peacemaker isn't the only DC TV show of the year. In a very different vein, The Sandman on Netflix is coming
Oh
out.
yeah.
Any
Uh-huh.
readers of The Sandman? I haven't read any Sandman comics, but how about you guys?
I've read some
Mm-mm.
of it. It is pretty cool. Like it's Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that's his magnum opus
Mm-hmm.
is The Sandman. But yeah, definitely a very beloved like cult favorite among DC fans. The Sandman, I think like um kind of like almost in a vein that feels a lot similar to Watchmen
Mm.
in a way. But very supernatural, deals with death, um, personifies the character of Death, Lady Death, um, and what she deals with, and like a lot of like really great story, great little very human stories of humans, like kind of on their deathbed, and how they're being taken away from death. Um, they could be like little moments or like larger arcs. I haven't read a terrible amount. It was definitely a while ago, so my Sandman knowledge is very limited. But I think now might be the time to jump back in, because like DC on TV. I guess it's almost like that's what I'm looking more forward to than DC at the movies. Even though Batman is amazing, it almost seems like that's TV might be their big like stronger suit. So I hope they do well there. Um, And I think as far as other DC TV, I haven't kept up on it as much. I've heard very mixed things on the latest season of Superman and Lois, which people loved season one. Um, and but I think what's also coming back to, for fear you'll be happy, Harley Quinn,
Ah,
Yeah.
which feels
Yeah.
very much in the vein of Peacemaker.
It's very much like Peacemaker, so I'm really looking forward to that one though. So yeah.
Mhm. I guess they were in the same movie together, so it kind of fits.
that's right.
You know, it's so funny you bring that up because there's a show I'm watching right now. It's called Adventures of Machina, I think that's what it's called. Have you guys heard of it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it.
Yeah, it's like it's a Dungeons and Dragons storyline. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's very much a mix of like Harley Quinn and Game of Thrones and yeah, basically like that. Like very like violent and very adult and very much like a lot of action in like dragons and magic and all this stuff. So it's very much like that, I guess.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it because I used to watch. It's based off Critical Role.
Yeah.
It's all the same characters who would like a bunch of voice actors would live stream their D&D game, and like it's something I would like kind of just put on in the background sometimes. I never like followed it too closely because they had long games. It's a nice like fall asleep kind of thing. But I've heard really good things about it. A friend of mine who's like a really big Critical Role fan is loving it right now because pretty much that, but like done as a show with like the same voice actors, with characters they've already like kind of like run with for a very, very long time and already very comfortable. Characters that they create, that the voice actors created themselves, rather than characters created for the voice actors to play.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Right on.
Have you heard about it, Henry?
I have not. Does sound interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead, Porfirio.
No, I was going to say one TV show I'm really, really looking forward to is the new Halo series on Paramount Plus.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Another big video game for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, there's another video game TV show. Was it All of Us? I think that's coming out on HBO Max. I never played it, but yeah, Halo. Like based off the trailer that was released on Sunday, I'm just like, oh, this is the Halo movie I never got by Peter Jackson, and it just looks really, really great. And I feel like even if the storyline is shitty, I feel like I'm still gonna like it because I just Halo has a very special place in my heart,
Mm,
and the effects just look really great. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this one.
cool.
Me too.
Yeah. Wow. It really could be shaping up as the year of the video game adaptation, right? It might be kind of fun at the end of the year to sort of look back and see how we did. How did these shows and movies actually turn out? But it's pretty promising. Definitely very promising. Okay, so with TV, of course, there is Disney Plus. We haven't talked about that yet, right? So Disney Plus has a pretty big slate of big releases. Before we get off of Star Wars entirely, there is the Obi-Wan Kenobi show coming out this year. And it stars none other than Ewan McGregor reprising the role. So that could be interesting. Yeah, with how Boba Fett is kind of turned out a bit disappointing. It'll be interesting to see how this goes because this show will clearly not be in the mold of the Mandalorian or Boba Fett. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it turns out.
Do you know anything about it, Henry?
No.
I know what's his name? Hayden,
Hayden Christensen.
yeah, he's gonna be in the show also.
Oh, he's been confirmed.
Yeah, he's been confirmed to be in the show. So obviously we're gonna have another Obi-Wan and Darth Vader confrontation. What is that, like number 3? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then I'm hearing very big rumors that it's gonna come out in May, which makes sense because May the 4th, you know.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep, Star Wars. Yeah, probably around Memorial Day weekend too.
Mhm.
Like it's always when when Star Wars the first one came out. That's when Han Solo came out.
Yeah, Han Solo, you had the Bad Batch last year. There's always something coming out on May the 4th for Star Wars projects.
Do you guys think there is potential to course correct? Kind of like how Spider-Man No Way Home, quote unquote, fixed Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Do you think this show could possibly redeem the prequel movies?
I think so.
Yeah.
It could be.
I feel like Obi-Wan was a character that was pretty well liked. And I feel like it could definitely connect like wasn't like the biggest memes going around like, oh, why did Luke get sent to Tatooine while Leia went to Naboo? And like where was Obi-Wan while Luke was growing up and stuff? And I feel like this will kind of help answer those questions.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like this will also just help because I feel like isn't this like the first kind of live action kind of thing that we're gonna watch post Order 66 in terms of what happened to the Jedi and stuff?
I guess so. Because we didn't really get any of that in Rogue One, really.
Yeah, we didn't get it from Rogue One. And Mandalorian never really, it's kind of touching up on it, but it hasn't dug its feet into it. So I feel like that'd be really cool to see, like, kind of like Obi-Wan explore, like, if he like makes connections with other Jedi or all that kind of stuff. What happens after, Order 66?
It is true that with all the hatred for the prequels, I don't think a lot of it was directed at Ewan McGregor or the Obi-Wan Kenobi character. There's a reason why this show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi and not Anakin Skywalker, right? So, there's some potential, right? We'll see. Of course, a slate of Marvel Disney Plus shows is scheduled to come out. We got Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Secret Invasion. So, thoughts on these? Any of these particularly jump out to you guys?
Moon Knight.
Yes.
Moon Knight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Moon Knight looks
we're all,
sick.
yeah, same here. We're all in the same boat, I think. Really looking forward to that one.
Looks like a nice return to like the Netflix kind of gritty style.
Yeah, it's so funny you say, like, I like, Megan and Michelle, both good like fans of Marvel now, but they weren't so hot on the Netflix stuff. And I showed them the trailer and they're like, this seems pretty dark. I'm like, yes, that's why I'm so excited for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is cool. We talked a little bit about how last year, 2021, there was so much MCU content. And, to be honest, I think all of us got a little bit of Marvel fatigue. But I don't really feel that with this show because the feel of it is so different. It does feel gritty. It does seem a little edgier and very different from pretty much any Marvel content from last year, right? So could be pretty cool.
It's going to be Marvel's answer to DC's The Batman coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Both next month. So it'll be interesting to see how they turn out.
We'll get a nice Daredevil cameo too, just to like seal the deal.
Speaking of that, do you think like in any of these TV shows that are coming out this year, we're gonna have more, or if any, Defenders cameos?
Hmm. I think at some point, I think we might have been speculating Jessica Jones might show up in She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah. Very possible.
Like we'll see. Because She-Hulk's a lawyer. She might be kind of like the Hogarth character, or kind of replacement for Jessica.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Besides Daredevil, Kingpin, and Jessica Jones, I don't know if there's like a whole lot of clamoring for other Marvel Netflix characters. Well, there's the Punisher also, right? The Punisher, I could see Marvel wanting to maybe hold off on the Punisher for a little while. So I don't know. I don't know if there will be a whole lot of reprising of Marvel Netflix this year. I could definitely see Jessica Jones showing up in She-Hulk. Yeah, I could see that. But beyond that, I don't really know. I don't think so.
Would you guys want to see Luke Cage show up anytime soon?
In the right way, yeah, for sure.
Fair enough.
If they do it right, yeah. But I don't know of the current like roster of movies and shows. I don't know right now. Yeah, maybe a little further down the line.
We'll see.
So-
like, Oh, go ahead, Porphyry.
No. You go ahead.
I
I
was gonna
just said
say,
like,
yeah, like I guess looking at them because we have Moon Knights we talked about She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. There's a holiday special for Guardians, and then I Am Groot. Um, was hard to say. Like I always thought She-Hulk was uh closer to Deadpool, like a Deadpool type character. You know, very meta, a little more like comedic, and like a more lighthearted character. I know she's been changed a little more recently. Um, and so I don't know. I could see that, but I think that that's probably that might. They, my guess might be, but that's more of a comedy. Um,
I heard
and
the show is going like in a break the fourth wall kind of direction,
mhm.
where she's like talking to the audience like Deadpool did. So I could see that.
Yeah, I could because I think she did that a lot in the comics, in her like solo series.
Hmm.
Although she's definitely gone through like changes, like here and there.
Hmm.
Kamala Khan was a character I like was a character I really liked when I read like her solo run with Miss Marvel. And I thought her power, she was kind of like a Mr. Fantastic Powers. But
That's
they
what I always
changed
thought too. Yeah.
yeah, but they changed her powers in this in so now she's more like Green Lantern, though. And so like I don't know, that was a pretty big change. Like the character that stretches and like kind of does like has like kind of this like body changing power as
Hmm.
opposed to now where she has like a whole ring, similar to basically Green Lantern,
Mm.
which is kind of I don't know, it's interesting because like one is that it um is that like the comic series like took off and she was what is it? She got hit by the Terrigen mists in the
Yeah.
comic.
Hmm.
So she's an Inhuman, but they've kind of canned the MCU like largely canned all the Inhuman type characters. They were like hella building it up, the Inhumans, but that did not pan out too well, and they kind of axed it. And I also think like maybe they just want to save all the shape shifting stuff for Reed Richards,
Maybe.
so they can take this character in a completely different direction. But I don't know, like you'd think like for such like someone who blew up, you'd want to see the character as the character
Yeah.
rather than like the character as someone else.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this a
Yeah.
show you have like on your radar? Is this a show you're like interested in?
For me, it is. I think it's because Kamala, wasn't she like Marvel's first Muslim hero?
Yeah,
Or no, wait, was it Muslim or Hindu? Oh my gosh, I feel so
Muslim.
bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's Muslim.
okay. And I feel like, with that kind of like representation, I feel like they wouldn't want to fuck that up. So that I feel like no, I feel like I'm pretty confident they're gonna do the character right. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that show. Although maybe the least anticipated for me of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Um, and shoot, I mean, I'll be there for all of them, no question. But yeah, I'm just not as familiar with this character. So yeah, hey, maybe a good time for me to get acquainted, right?
Y- Do you think we're gonna see a cameo from uh Captain Marvel?
Oh, I think there's no question. Yeah,
I,
and I would go further to say she's probably going to be doing more than a cameo.
I do hope so. Like, because they are calling Captain Marvel 2 the Marvels,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
and she
they're
is Miss
setting.
Marvel.
Yeah, they're setting it up to be a team up, it looks like. And there have been comic storylines where Kamala Khan idolizes Carol Danvers, and they interact and everything. So I'm pretty sure that Brie Larson is going to be suiting up for that show.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I guess the lineage, they'll have to kind of write it in a way where, because in the comics, Carol Danvers was originally Miss Marvel before she became Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there was no Miss Marvel character already for Kamala Khan to take.
Yeah. One show that not many people have talked about is Secret Invasion, but that's pretty high on my list of anticipated. Like, if it's got Nick Fury and Skrulls in it, like, I'm in. So I don't really have no idea what it's going to be. Like, Secret Invasion comics were like this big, like, crossover event series, right? And clearly this show is not going to be that. What is it going to be? I don't know, but I'm very curious and pretty excited to check it out.
Is that one really confirmed for this year? I thought it was next year.
Well, it's listed as 2022.
Okay.
It might get pushed back, but as of now, it's on the calendar, I guess you could say.
You know who, obviously, yeah, there's a lot of things to look forward to. Secret Invasion, you have like the Skrulls and Nick Fury and Game of Thrones alum Emilia Clarke being in it, making her MCU debut. But I feel like we're gonna see I don't know if you guys are familiar with this character. His name is Teddy. He's a half Kree, half Skrull character in the Young Avengers.
Oh, right. Yep.
Uh-huh. And it just makes sense for him to make his debut there, since, yeah, like I said, he's half Skrull, and continue making like this like Young Avengers team,
Yeah, we could see that. We could see go ahead, Christian.
Is he Hulkling? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Henry, what were you saying?
Oh, no worries. Yeah, there's speculation that we'll see the continuation of the Monica Rambeau story in Secret Invasion. So maybe some more sword stuff. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. Okay. What else? So I guess The Boys season 3 and Invincible season 2 are tentatively scheduled for this year also. Yeah, Amazon, putting out more comic book content. So I'm definitely looking forward to those.
And
two.
they're having a Boys animated show.
Oh, right.
This month,
right.
actually.
Yeah.
That's coming out this month. That looks pretty wonky or pretty goofy,
Yeah.
It almost has this like hyper violent, like Looney Tunes kind of look,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does remind me of when we talked about Invincible, how it was kind of disturbing to me because it had this like retro cartoon look, something of the style of cartoons I watched when I was a kid, but it's like super violent, right? This Boys animated series looks like that too, maybe even more so. It looks like a kid's show almost, the way it's animated, but clearly with like extreme violence in there. So looks pretty messed up.
It's almost like Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a 30-minute Itchy and Scratchy episode.
Okay, we're running a little long. Maybe we can run down like the top. Like, what is our most anticipated movie and our most anticipated show for this year? I think we've kind of listed some of them already, but let's make it official. I can go first. As I mentioned, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 is my most anticipated movie. For shows, I think I'm going to go with Moon Knight for my most anticipated TV show of the year. How about you, Porfirio? What would you list as your top movie and top show?
Top movie for sure, Doctor Strange 2 into or Madness into the Multiverse.
Right.
That's definitely, and then my top TV show surprisingly isn't comics related. It honestly is Lord of the Rings anime, the Amazon show. I'm
Ooh,
I'm really looking forward to that above like the MCU and DC TV shows.
I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be talking about Lord of the Rings when that drops this year. So watch out.
hmm
Okay, how about you, Christian? Top
All
movie,
right.
top show.
Top movie is it's gonna be the Batman. Can't wait to see what Pattinson does. I can't wait for the gritty reboot of the Riddler and the noirish like look to everything just oozes cool. It's a new take on Batman that like feels very at home with Batman, but also very fresh. And so the show, it's hard to really pin down one show. Um, let's see. I think as far as like I'll go with my gut. I think it it's actually going to be Cobra Kai season 5, the finale of Cobra Kai. I think the show is just so much fun. I've had so much, and I think season 4 really stepped it up and is really like the best season yet. And so, like, it's such a goofy, I want to say like comic booky, but I think like seeing it all kind of go down finally, and for the show to end kind of with a bang is what I'm really hoping for.
Nice pick. Yeah, we didn't even mention Cobra Kai, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And with this past season, season 4, my God, everybody was talking about Cobra Kai. Like
Fucking
there are
Cobra
so
Kai.
many people I know, like you guys, people who aren't really into um like stuff I'm into. I mean, just everyone, like everyone I knew was watching the show. It's like pretty wild. It was I guess it has that universal appeal to it. But it's funny because just um with a lot of my friends and people I know, like I categorize different people like, oh, this person is into this sort of thing, that person is into that sort of thing. And a lot of times there isn't, overlap, crossover. But with Cobra Kai, I just saw like this swath of overlap. Like so many people I knew were enjoying it and talking about it. So yeah, pretty wild. I even saw like Andrew Garfield is apparently like a huge Cobra Kai fan, and that kind of says it all, right? Um, yeah, it's something else, and yeah, I'm totally looking forward to the next season for sure.
Mhm. Henry, wait, I just want to give one last shout out to one last TV show.
Please do.
Okay, like this year's gonna finally be the end to Walking Dead.
Really?
Ah, that's right. I
Yeah.
did hear that. Yeah.
Finally. After how many seasons?
Oh my gosh, I don't know how many seasons it's been, but like we've always talked about doing a Walking Dead episode, and I feel like maybe now's the chance to get back into Walking Dead. After how many seasons ago did we stop watching it?
Yeah. Oh man, we're so behind though. Like that would be quite an undertaking to watch all these missed seasons. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I mean, like, at one point it was Game of Thrones or versus Walking Dead, Sunday nights. And God, how the mighty have fallen for both shows.
Yeah, that's right. I had mentioned how Game of Thrones was the water cooler show of the 2010s. I guess it wasn't the only one, right? Walking Dead was the talk of the town, man. Everyone was talking about that show for a long time, and we were definitely part of that hype. Um,
hmm
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can get this Walking Dead episode in yet. Maybe we could do something kind of goofy. Like we could just watch the series finale and not even be caught up. And then we can just get our reactions. I don't know. So maybe something like that might be kind of fun.
Uh-huh.
We'll see. Okay, with that, we can wrap up the episode. This is farewell from Henry, Porfirio, and Christian.